Just a reminder, you don't always have to be doing something. It's really important that you learn when it's time to be still and do nothing. Not answering the phone, not answering emails, not logging on to social media, not trying to catch up on things, but just being still. The art of stillness is a component in the art of balance. If you can learn to be still, and not just still physically, but if you can learn to be still in your mind, you can learn to be still in your heart, then you're practicing the art of stillness. And that all begins by learning how to listen to your body and your mind, so that when it's telling you that it's time to take a break, you actually listen. Because life has a way of slowing us down if we're not willing to do it ourselves. So instead of getting to that extreme where you're forced to be still, maybe we should learn how to listen deeply to our own needs and shut everything down periodically. And of course, that requires as well that you're going to experience the busyness of the mind. Because the mind is always busy. It's just that more often than not, we're not paying attention. We're busy distracting ourselves. We're busy staying busy. And so we don't get a chance to actually attend to what's going on in our heart, to what's going on in our mind. So it's only natural that when we sit still, we believe that we can't be still because we're troubled by all of those things that are going on in our mind and all of those things that are in our heart, those feelings that we often suppress, those thoughts that we often distract ourselves from hearing, surrounding ourselves with noise and activity. And as you learn to sit still with those thoughts and with those feelings, and not try to push them away, but be present to them, you'll begin to experience stillness, true stillness. You know, my father would take us into the mountains of upstate New York every summer. He was raised there in the Lake George area. And I would sit with him at night around the fire, and he would invite me to watch as he put peanuts or almonds or something on his foot, up his leg, and he would just sit back in his chair and watch the fire, not talking. And soon, what would begin to occur is that squirrels and chipmunks would start to come and crawl up my father's leg and sit on his lap and chew on those nuts, chew on those almonds, those walnuts, those peanuts, and just stare at him. And I would try it, and they wouldn't come anywhere near me. And so one day my father said to me, "It's because you're not still." And of course I was too young to understand. So I asked him, "What do you mean I'm not still? I'm sitting here just like you." And he said, "No, your body is still. But those animals, Mother Nature can sense when your heart is not still, when your mind is not still." And so he was teaching me the art of stillness. And I'm so grateful for that lesson, which occurred so many years ago. It's one that I didn't altogether understand for many, many, many years. So give yourself the gift of stillness. I know it's part of living in a very busy world that we often find ourselves completely immersed, engrossed in activity. And there's a time for that. But in order to establish balance, we also have to learn the art of stillness so that we can reset our minds, our parasympathetic nervous system, so that our bodies can heal, can regenerate, because our bodies are created as regenerative mechanisms. Everything in our body is created to regenerate. But that requires stillness and attention to the thoughts and the behaviors that may be causing sickness. So on this 4th of July weekend, where everybody may be having a long weekend, at least here in the United States, I know that many of you will be with your families, attending celebrations. But how about in the midst of all of those celebrations, you take at least a couple of hours to be still? And for my friends watching in other parts of the world, I invite you as well to begin to practice the art of stillness, to begin to practice prioritizing your own mental and emotional and physical well-being. Because regardless of where we live, most of us live in societies that place a high priority on activity and productivity. And very little of what our society teaches is about process, meaning examining our own internal process. So take some time, give yourself that gift, and everything around you will begin to reflect that internal shift. May each and every one of you enjoy happiness and the root of happiness. May each and every one of you be at peace. May each and every one of you be free from suffering and the root of suffering. May each and every one of you be grounded and healed in and by the power of love.